move him up to Milwaukee, or Carolina or Florida Panthers. Tampa, I would leave there because they're winning and they're actually drawing some fans there and that.
Sure.
But again, Carolina, nobody shows up for the games. And again, Arizona, unless you're a Wings fan showing there when they're playing the Wings, nobody shows up.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is actually true. Yeah.
That team's been just dysfunctional since they moved. Since they moved the original Winnipeg Jets down to Arizona.
All right.
That team's been dysfunctional. How many different changes of ownership? Basically, possibility of going bankrupt. Wayne Gretzky's wife basically doing inside betting and everything else.
Oh my goodness.
And now Gretzky's left Edmonton. He's now going to be and working for the NBC or TNT.
Oh, okay.
For hockey. I don't see him doing much under because personality wise, doesn't have much of a personality.
No, but they'll put him in a situation where he can just kind of like give his opinion, right? They'll set him up real nice, and he'll just have to knock the first one down.
But yeah, it's not like I'd rather put you want to have somebody that had a great career, Hall of Fame career in it. It's got some personality. Dino Ciccarelli.
Oh yeah, Dino's cool.
Dino would be great.
Dino's a cool guy. I got his number for you if you guys need it. Give him a holler.
You can do Dino. You can't bring in. I know McCarty's now got a local gig here, but McCarty looks like death warmed over.
Dude, he's a pro wrestler now.
No, I did not know that.
You realize I'm dead fucking serious,
I know you're
right?
dead serious. I did not know that.
Yes. He wrestled because I'm in the know now. So I'm in the business as I'm in the business now. Yes, absolutely. He was legit had a match with I want to say it was like one of those deathmatch companies. I'm not gonna plug them because I don't work for them, they don't.
He looks like he's been in several death matches.
They don't commission. He looks like a death match would be perfect for him. No, yeah, he does. He looks rough, man.
He's younger than he's like aged between the two of us.
That's crazy.
He's like I think he just turned 50 or he's going to turn 50.
Wow.
He looks like 15 years older than that.
Yeah, I'll say he doesn't.
That's what drugs do to you.
Man, oh man. Yeah, I get. That's what I would assume.
Yeah.
For some reason I thought he was older, but I guess it doesn't matter.
No,
I got his jersey right there, hanging on the wall.
He's a lot younger than I am.
Wow. That's crazy.
I mean, Stevie is right around the same age as me.
Yeah, I should. You guys need to Google the Darren McCarty. Go on YouTube or whatever, and I'm sure you can find it. Darren McCarty's wrestling match he had here locally just last, I want to say just a week or two ago, was his first legit in-ring match, which I'm sure they just like he did some stupid hockey fight shit. He pulled a t-shirt over the dude's head and popped him a couple times. Kind of dumb gimmick shit. What else did he do? Threw a dude out of the ring. I don't know. I just saw like a minute of a sequence or whatever he was but it was cell phone footage.
Yeah,
I'd have to get a hold of our boy Antonio Hardcam. He would be able to.
Yeah, so we got
tell me.
Yeah, we got this guy. Winnipeg beating up on Edmonton for straight on there. When is Connor McDavid Connor McDavid going to say I want out?
Well, I was about to say he only could do so much, man.
Dude is doing everything he can.
Yeah, I know.
It's like what the hell? He's gonna leave, and he's gonna go. He's gonna say, "Screw this! I'm going out somewhere and pay me."
Well, and I wouldn't be surprised with that. We touched on that a little bit yesterday. Like he's a beast, but it just wasn't enough. It's just not enough. And
fine, you know what?
And they got
guess who's got a lot of cap space when it comes down there if we keep it open? Us.
Oh yeah.
On it. So yeah, we'll see. But they're on there. I know locally here they were talking about the Wings. Hopefully we get we'll get the 6 pickles happens there. Cider will be up there for the next year and that. They're also talking to is Columbus is Seth Jones. He was a top 4 pick defenseman. Really, I mean he's really good on there. And I think he's just 25 or 26. Dude, trade for that or basically because he's going to want out. You try to do a sign and trade.
Right.
And sign him to a long-term deal.
Yeah.
You can play defenseman there. You can see him and Cider. There'd be a great combo there. This is a draft too. Maybe we can get another physical defenseman as well, and just basically that might change on it. But they do need some offensive help.
Yeah, for sure.
Rasmussen is starting to look a little better. Sider is looked phenomenal this year, playing over in Europe. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, right now, I would say is basically could be again. It could be the Avalanche. The Avalanche looked great the other night, beating the hell out of Vegas and that. So they may come out of the West. The way the Canadians are playing. I mean, again, they've won 3 in a row against Toronto.
Right.
The way they're playing this game tonight, who knows?
Right.
They might be making one of those runs there. Again, Carey Price is playing really good at goal and everything with it. And then I think, again, if you look in the East team, I think it's Tampa.
Yep, I'm with you.
I think Tampa's got the most talent.
We'll see. Anything can happen in the NHL, though, man. That's why they play.
Hot goalie steal series.
Absolutely.
I mean, Toronto had their chance on there. They had some great. I mean, they haven't won a series since on there. I think when Cujo was playing with them, they haven't won a series since then. And the last time they went to the NHL Conference Finals, that was back in I want to say '93, and that was Felix Potvin was playing for them with Dougie fucking Gilmore. That when they beat us in 7 games, they went in there, lost to Vegas, Los Angeles, the Kings there in 7 games, and then obviously Montreal. We took care of the Kings in the Stanley Cup Finals here, and that's and again that was Gretzky playing for Los Angeles, brought the hockey to LA.
Right,
it's a good team in there.
Sure,
but again, Montreal. I mean, Jacques Demers was just a master on there.
Oh, he was. Yeah.
I mean, calling a coach and that, and of course you had Patty Roy.
Yeah,
who played really well. I mean, that was a really good Montreal team, though.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, a little update here. Washington, Philly, 5-point game. Philly's up there with about 3.5 to go in the third. Still a 3-1 Habs lead over Vancouver. Canada Mike, of course, signed in like he always does. Greetings from Canada. Only he added an F the Leafs and go crack and grow. So you knew that was coming in. So that's good. That'll be his new handle, I think, his new tag when he comes in and signs in. So we appreciate you guys. Text line is open for you guys. I know we didn't get much to it in the first half, but we will in the second half. 313-307-5340 is the text line. Feel free to hit us up. I'm going to try to dig up that video of the video of Darren McCarty's match if I can find it on the internet.
Also, too, you got to probably dig up the baseball game was it last week? Cubs Pirates on there. Worst defense I've ever seen. The actual loss of fundamentals in baseball you'll ever see on that one. Maybe we'll talk about that on the break there. Yeah. On the flip side, we are DSR2 Studio 57 Radio.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Party people, this is the original Doc Ice, and you are definitely listening to Studio 57 Radio. And if Studio 57 Radio isn't on, then your radio ain't really on. Check that.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Hey everybody, Scrappy here to tell you about That Radio Show. Hang with me as I break down the world of entertainment with great guests, celebrity interviews, awesome games with wonderful prizes. Also, we've got the biggest library of underground hip-hop of any station on the net. You mix in a little stand-up comedy and a text line so your voice can be heard, and you got a pretty good little show. But add listener-controlled programming? Yeah, you heard me. Listener-controlled programming, where you, the listener, can decide what makes it on the air, and now you've got the greatest show ever created. So join my show, your show, our show, the people's show, That Radio Show, each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, only here on Studio 57 Radio.
Hey everybody, this is your boy Big D, here to tell you about Mark for Life Tattoos. Guys, this place is the cleanest, most laid-back studio in Metro Detroit, and the artists are top-notch. And if you're like me from the D, you need to stop in on Fridays for that D-Day and get your old English D for only $20. Not interested in tattoos? Mark for Life does body piercings. Mark for Life is located at 22533 Van Dyke in Warren. And the guys are there 7 days a week from noon to 9. So give them a call at 757-2222. That's 586-757-2222. Tell them Studio 57 sent you and get 20% off. So what are you waiting for? Call them now.
Hey everybody, Smokey here to tell you about Allstate. Winter fast approaching, the most important thing between you and the road is your tires. So don't put your safety in just anybody's hands. Go to Allstate Tire. With new and quality used tires available, you can trust Allstate Tire for all your tire needs. You can visit them at 14208 9 Mile Road in Warren, or give them a call at 586-779-8759. Allstate Tire, your source for quality new and used tires.
What's happening, everybody? Scrappy here to tell you about Love and Life Club. Love and Life Club is a social networking club that's located at 19960 James Cousins. That's a large service drive between 7 and 8 Mile Road in the D. You need to stop in for $5 Fridays for great music, food, and drinks. I personally recommend the chicken. Love and Life Club is also available for rental for bachelor parties, wedding receptions, or any party for that matter. For more information, log on to www.loveandlifeclub.com. That's loveandlifeclub.com, or call D at 313-999-2824. That's 313-999-2824. That's Love and Life Club. If you love and life, you need to be in the club.
Taking over the broadcast for the underground.
You know, when you hear that sound, you're gonna have a good time, because that's the sound of the ultimate underground live concert webcast from the Detroit area. We go to the most famous, or should I say, infamous venues in the D, and bring the underground music scene from the streets to your computer like nobody else can. There's only one catch. You never know when and where the ultimate underground is going to take over a broadcast. So you need to stay tuned to Studio 57 Radio all day, every day, with clues on when and where the next ultimate underground may happen. Now there's no other station on the net that's going to give you this live webcast of some of the hottest artists in the D. That's the ultimate underground live on your home for hip-hop, rock and metal, Studio 57 Radio, baby.
Goodbye.
You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57 serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57 serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. Studio 57 is a 32-track digital recording studio that utilizes Cool Edit, Logic Pro, Shure, AKG, Sennheiser, Yamaha, Korg, Mac, Boss, Ibanez, Fender, Fruity Loops, and many, many more to make your music pop. Experienced and friendly engineers make Studio 57 feel like you're home away from home. With beat creation, mixing, mastering, digital media conversion, and DJs for any event, Studio 57 Records is your one-stop shop for all your music entertainment needs. We have online bill pay and flexible payment schedules. That makes Studio 57 the place to be. For more information, visit Studio57records.com. That's www.studio57records.com, or call us at 586-420-3390. That's 420-3390 or log on to studio57records.com. And just remember one thing, baby.
You get what you want cause we got what you need. Studio 57 serving straight to the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. You get what you want cause we got what you need. Studio 57 serving straight to the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets.
Party people, this is the original Doc Ice, and you are definitely listening to Studio 57 Radio. And if Studio 57 Radio isn't on, then your radio ain't really on. Check that.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Yo, what's up? Yo, we are back for hour 2 of DS2. I hope you guys are ready with us. A little bit of a NHL and NBA. We got a little split screen here in the studio. We're watching Montreal 3-1 over Winnipeg, and it looks like Philly's trying to stretch this game out a little bit as Atlanta takes a 5-point lead to halftime. So there's your update there on the sports scoreboard. Let's get this thing rolling. We were talking a lot of NBA and NHL. Of course, we're going to continue that conversation, but we'll sprinkle in a little MLB, NFL, all that fun stuff. We'd love your take on anything you saw this last week. Text lines are open. We're taking them. Get in on it. Be part of the show. So, without further ado, let's do the do we do at DSR2 in hour 2. I am Scrappy, and here's your host, Johnny the Moose.
Hey, we are back here for the second hour of DSR2. In case you missed it, we talked a lot about the NBA action going on there. Also, we talked to some of the NHL action. But again, if you haven't watched any of these playoffs, you're missing a lot of fun there. Everything has been great here on this. Some of these series have been off the hook. Overtime games, double overtime games on both ends. It's just been fun to watch here. And again, as we said earlier, Lakers can literally get knocked out. I don't give a damn. Knock them out tomorrow and then be done with it.
Yeah, I'm all about the young talent. And speaking of young talent, I put a little stat up here on the board with Montreal advancing past Toronto. They're getting scoring from all over the board, but they got 2 overtime winning goals from 2 20-year-olds, and then followed it up by the same thing from 2 36-year-olds. So, not to knock the older guys, which is about where LeBron's at, right? 36-ish. Yep. But I want to see the young guys get it done.
Yes.
And when LeBron does all these goofy little things, it kind of takes away the media's eye from some of the cool stuff, and you get more of that kind of goofy, nonsense. Him walking off the court. Why we even talk about that? We should be talking about some of these young bucks. So I just like it. I like different teams. I like different. Well, we talked about it before, Moose. It's not really different teams. It's a handful of players that seem to dominate this league. So I do like to see these young guys coming up, and we've got some killers in the NBA, just absolute killers, playing great, and it's and I want them to get the shine, so to speak. 89-100. Washington is about to be eliminated. I feel you're like about 20, you got just under 30 seconds to go. You're down by, it's only 8. They can totally come back, but I just feel like the harder they've been trying in this game, the further they've been getting. So, if you can't do something without Joel Embiid right here, right now.
And they just hit a 3.
And yeah, Philly just hits another 3. Go up by 11. I don't know. It's not they can win this game, but it just doesn't. I don't get that feeling like they're doing anything that makes you go, oh yeah, there's a comeback
this is
coming.
one too. Maybe we're again, as we see on there, is how Philly maybe hopefully takes care of Washington on there. Is this might be the effect of Doc Rivers. Because last year this team probably would have lost to Washington.
Oh, sure.
That's the difference. You've seen Doc on it. This team looks more relaxed.
Mhm.
They look more focused. Yep, they're looking more focused. There's not that stress. And you look at what everybody seems to have elevated their game this year on there, whether it's Simmons or Embiid. Now you're seeing looking what Tobias Harris is doing here to playoff wise on there.
I just find it funny that the narrative has always been the choke factor that Doc Rivers has, right? But then in the same breath, the same cats that put that shit on him will say, well, the players are the ones that win games. Did we not just do a whole segment here, Moose, about how the X's and O's aren't really a thing?
Right.
It's about managing ego.
Managing egos.
So what? So the players are the ones getting
And
out
again,
there and need
as
to
we
execute.
said, is Doc was won an NBA championship with Boston.
Right.
So you can't. Again, what's the kicker is why did he flame out with the Clippers? Because it's the name on the front of the jersey, Clippers. Doesn't matter who's coaching it. Doesn't matter who's playing for it. They've always been a team that just like.
Well, I can't wait. I can't wait till the guy that's spent the last 6 months on the air talking about how Doc Rivers is the reason for the collapses and all this stuff. Goodbye. Go to Philly, and then have to turn around on his same fucking show and say, look what Doc Rivers did. Doc Rivers has got these guys playing well. Doc Rivers has got them winning without Joel Embiid and
Right.
playing well together, and they look loose. And there's a Doc Rivers. They're going to go to a championship, or they're going to make a run at a championship. They're going to make that next step. You're going to feel more confident about it. And the only difference is going to be Doc effing Rivers. So I just love it. I'm going to love it when all this season is done, when those assholes that are on the air saying all that stuff now are going to have to eat that, and they'll spit it like, oh, yeah, no, we knew Doc could do this.
Doc's a great guy, and
I'm done with that nonsense, dude.
Yeah. Again,
The narrative on every other damn station is that he's the reason behind these choke jobs.
No.
Everybody's saying that. Not one single person is not saying that, other than players, like
Yes.
former players and
Yes.
stuff. But I mean, everybody that's like strictly, nah, dude, they're all saying that shit, and they're all gonna have to go on the air and eat shit.
Crow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, we look on it what Doc's done and everything with it, and again, he's done a great job this year with it. And you look on there, everybody seems Embiid's definitely taken a step up on there, and again, he's got to stay healthy in that. And
That's
again,
the key to everything. Does he
but
stay
Ben
healthy?
Simmons took a huge step forward. This
Well,
year.
and right now they're winning and they're playing well without Embiid. Now, when you get to Milwaukee and Brooklyn, that ain't work.
We'll see what happens
That can't.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that probably, that's going to be even harder. But I mean, I'm
But again,
sorry.
if they lose and get 6 games or 7 games to Brooklyn, I'm still not
that's
playing.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not
What-
going. Oh, it's a choke job. No, you lost to
There's
Brooklyn, but
no
it took
shame.
7 games.
Yeah, there's no shame.
Brooklyn, Milwaukee, and Philly are like basically A, B, and C. I mean,
Right.
they're all right there.
Right.
I would take those 3 versus anybody in the West.
Right now, yeah. As far as a confidence factor, if I'm going to put any money on it, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who in the West?
2 years ago, we were like, oh, the East is never going to catch up. Well, they caught up, and everybody's got, granted, it was injuries and everything else, and the West has fallen backwards a little bit.
If you had to put up your house or amount of money that meant something to you or whatever on any team in the league to win it, is it gonna be? Does a Western Conference team even come up in the first 2 or 3? Really?
No.
I mean, I don't feel like it. I don't feel anybody going, yeah, I think Utah's going to win it. I'll bet the farm on Utah or Phoenix.
No.
No, because remember, Phoenix is supposed to get steamrolled by LA, right?
Except for here.
Right.
We all said, I don't see LA winning.
No. All right, so how did they get out of the first round?
Yeah, we said that. We're the only ones that said everybody else, oh, well, the Lakers are going to win it.
We
I
don't
know.
self-gloss a whole lot here, guys, because quite frankly,
We were wrong a lot.
yeah. I mean,
We'll admit it.
we're fans.
We do admit it.
Yeah, we're fans. We're 50-50. That's why the Scrappy Damas thing is so funny, right? Because I joke about a blind squirrel gets a nut every once in a while, and when you say something and we have it on record and you nail it, you just like freak out, right? So that's just a testament to how often you miss. I mean, it is what it is. If we could hit on all this stuff and we knew all this shit, we'd all be millionaires right now. Because if I picked every game right and picked every scenario correct, I'd be betting all the time.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't betting all the time, I'd be selling my bets to other folks,
Yes.
like they do all over the place. I'd be making degenerate
I'm
gamblers by the second.
I'm telling you, here's a free one of the week.
Yes, exactly. God, he sounded just like him, Moose. That was pretty good. Sounded just like, yeah, right? Now,
On there.
Now I need,
here's the thing on there again. On this is what was it? Story here.
uh-oh.
No, it's something. Trial set for the murder of former NBAer Lorenzen White, who was killed freaking 11 years ago. They finally got the trial's been set.
Wow.
Trial set for the man starting in 2022. Man is killed conspiring with Lorenzen White's ex-wife to kill the former NBA player 11 years ago on that. So, Billy Ray Turner, the serial killer.
Yeah, totally. 3
That
names.
his trial and right slaying is scheduled for January 31st on there. On it, Lorenzen White was again. Turner was indicted in 2017. His wife pleaded guilty. Ex-wife pleaded, but yeah, Lorenzen White was found a body riddled with bullets found in a swampy field east of Memphis on January 28th, 2010. Wright, age 34 at the time, was missing 10 days before his body was discovered. So I just saw that. On there also too, we got former Cy Young winner and Detroit Tiger Mike Marshall passed away at the age of 78, who set the record for most appearances by a reliever with 104 in 1974.
Jesus, in 1 year?
In 1 year,
How the hell do you do that?
he pitched over 200 innings as a reliever.
That's like almost. That's like what? That's like 78% of the games or something like that. Some
Yeah,
nonsense.
2/3 of the games he
Yeah.
played. Over 2/3 of the games he appeared in.
Wow.
He set the record
That's
for
a lot.
most double inning saves in MLB history.
I don't make them like that no more. Holy cow. We were talking earlier about baseball and pace of play and all that stuff. Like, we've got all the sports going on, and our gimmick is obviously sports here, and I can't watch baseball right now. Like, there's been very few games that have caught me and got me going when you have all this playoff stuff going on, and I don't know what they're doing and what their plan is, but like, I like some of the goofy stuff that they kind of tried to do during their little bubble session there, and it's not that I like necessarily what they did. I just like the fact that they're trying to be innovative.
Yeah.
So, what in the hell fixes baseball? Like, right now, obviously football is king in this country, although that could change. But I think still they got a pretty good foothold. But we're talking basketball, hockey, and we can do 2 hours, no problem on that all day long. But, like, what gets us talking about baseball? Like, when do we talk about baseball? Otani?
Yeah,
I mean, because that's something to behold.
Otani, and again, I would say is of course our favorite player, Fernando Tatis Jr.,
Who's injured now,
who's
right?
injured now.
What's up with him?
Well, again, he basically went to avoid getting hit by a pitch. He went to the fucking splits and he pulled a hammy.
Groin. Oh, yeah. Oh, a hammy. I thought it was a groin. Yeah.
Dude, 6'3", 220, man. He just did the splits like nothing. But yeah, kind of on that. But you got guys getting hurt and everything with it. But again, baseball is what's killing again this year. I know what's killing is basically is.
Dude, it's all or nothing.
It is,
and it's been like that it's been trending like that for a decade.
It is on it, and it's basically the okay of guys striking out like ridiculous numbers, but then it's all about we got to get the the trajectory angle, the basically our swing angle, and get the ball out of the ballpark and that. And the problem is the days of getting guys hitting in the gaps, getting doubles, getting triples on their contact hitters who basically is. I mean, Tony Gwynn would basically be pissed if he struck out 50 times a season, much less 200.
Right. And that's like the going rate, it feels like. Like, I mean,
it is.
It's like I'm just going to swing at every pitch. Dude, it's like everybody's playing MLB The Show.
Yes. It's all or nothing. It's basically.
And I don't understand that mentality. Once again, it messes with the pace of play, and then it minimizes action. yeah, chicks dig the long ball, but that's because you're working towards that and you make contact. Like, you can't just swing for the fences every time. If you're a fighter and you go out there and you throw your heaviest punch every punch, dude, you're done. Like, you can't continue that way. You could be good for a while. You could be good for years.
Yes.
But how long can you maintain that? Ask Chuck Liddell.
Right. You can't maintain it on there. I got an argument on frickin' Twitter about somebody posted something about Tony Gwynn. I'm like, he goes, well, you know, he's overrated, whatever. I'm like, dude, what do you mean overrated? Over 3,000 hits on it. Well, again, all he could do is hit. He could only hit singles. He was too fat. I'm like, he stole 56 bases one year. You know that. How many Gold Gloves? He's won 5 Gold Gloves. He has the highest batting average lifetime since 1960.
Well, that's the other thing. What's the batting average even going to mean anymore?
It doesn't. It's all about your OPS and basically total bases and the long ball.
Because you'd never hear about like big time hitters like being sub 200.
Right.
You know, you wouldn't have guys. It just doesn't make sense.
You know, stolen
And
bases.
then other guys are trying to do it. Now you got how many sub 200 averages are in the league now?
Right. Oh, there's time. I mean, look at the time. I mean, again, there's teams that are not even hitting 200. I mean, you've got 3 teams in the MLB that have been no hit twice each.
What is going on here? It's like I thought you're trying to open the offense up.
It's the shift. It's everything else. Nobody getting again. Oh, the shift. Well, we're going to still try to hit the ball. No. If I'm a left-hander and they shift over in the right field, I'm laying a bunt right down the third baseline.
Right.
Or I'll just do a little blooper, a little pop, a little slap hit right down the line. I'm on in second. I'm sitting there at second.
Dude, you never see bunts anymore.
No. Stolen bases. Whit Merrifield is leading MLB with 16 stolen bases. Ricky Henderson stole 130 in one season. I mean, again, the Tigers, we're getting on it. When they built Comerica, that team was built for the 1985 St. Louis Cardinals. Speed, speed, speed.
Right.
You get 3 cats out in the outfield that can run like deers, lay small ball, steal bases, bunt guys over, do whatever. And no. We're going to basically make a trade for a guy that can hit home runs, and he was out of here after one season.
So crazy.
I mean, again, that shows you again when Granderson, basically when he hit that 20 home runs, 20 doubles, 20 triples, 20 stolen bases,
right,
was amazing.
Yeah.
It was something you would never see again. I mean, the only one player who's ever done that, and that was Willie Mays.
All right. Yeah, and that's not. No one's even going to strive for that kind of play anymore. It feels like everybody just wants to hit the homie. So you're not hitting those grounders.
But yeah, it would all start on there with the argument because it was a quote by Greg Maddox. He goes, about pitching inside, outside striking. He goes, I could do that all day long except for fucking Tony Gwynn. Because it was all profit on it because Tony Gwynn hit over 400 against Greg Maddox.
Man.
and it was all about praise about it. But again, and also too, like, I mean, the guy's ripping on Gwynn. I'm like, how can you rip on Gwynn? The dude is like, again, off the field, was verified as one of the great mensches of basically sports. I mean, basically, he was best friends with Ted Williams before Ted died on there, and they would sit there and just talk. And everybody talking, and he go, oh my God, on there, and he talk on there. I mean, Keith Olbermann did one of the greatest eulogies, kind of. He says is when he played it with the Padres and they played the Yankees in the '98 series on there, and basically he goes, oh man, he goes, and then Gwynn comes up to Olbermann, and he says, God, I would love to meet John Shepard. Well, really? The Yankees play-by-play or the PA announcer. Well, we can get you in there. So he also meets him. He goes, oh my God, Mr. Shepard on there. He's calling Mr. Shepard on there. So Keith goes up to that. He goes, can you make a tape on there for Gwen on there? So he made it onto like a little loop cassette on there, and so he gave it to Gwen, and all of a sudden it's like, no, whatever on there. Tony Gwynn, number 5, San Diego, Tony Gwynn, number 5. And Gwen's guy goes, oh yeah, I got my case there with all my silver bats and that. You got that? He goes, oh yeah, I played all the time. What happens if you burn out? He goes, I got like 4 more. Because he was just like,
Yeah.
so how can you not like a guy like that who's
Right.
basically just loved the game on there? And again, an infectious honest with the way you feel. Again, these are guys we grew up with that we fell in love with baseball because these are the guys.
Right.
And you look at today and it's just like, what the fuck? I mean, again, yeah, I know Nick Castellanos leading the MLB with 361 on there. Gee, wish we could have guys like that. Oh yeah, we did. But the strikeouts are just ridiculous. I mean, this is the lowest offensive output since 1968, and that was the year before they lowered the mound. And the mound was 6 inches higher.
Sure.
So, it just, I don't know. Baseball, I mean, they're doing certain things I like. I do like the 7-inning double headers on it, but you know what? Everything in those games count. So if you pitch a no-hitter in a 7-inning game, it's a complete game. You set the rules. So
Right.
you got 7 no-hitters, not 6. So kiss my ass.
Yeah, that's the
Rob
thing.
Manfred.
Yep. I know that's super stupid.
I hate the extra innings. The guy at second. I hate that goddamn thing.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that either. I just like the fact that they would even think outside the box. It's been 300 years since they gave a shit.
Yeah, I mean, you got 4 guys, or what? Let's see here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys, legitimately with 95 or more strikeouts for pitching wise. We're a third of the way through the season, so you're going to have 5 guys minimum that could have 300 strikeouts.
At that rate, that is nuts. That could actually happen, and that is
Yeah.
absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay, unnamed texter chiming in. Putting Brad Stevens in a given the keys to a franchise to Brad Stevens with no experience drives me absolutely batshit crazy. But did Ainge have any?
No,
And he.
Ainge didn't even coach. Brad Stevens at least coached college and pro.
Well, and I think he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
So it's, and if he's not, like, how about this? Like, let's say he's really smart on the basketball IQ level thing, right? And maybe he's not done that job before, but maybe this makeup of this team, he's done all he can do as a coach.
Right.
But you feel like his ability to, scout talent and bring cats in, especially from his background prior to being a Celtics head coach, and that a basketball IQ, all that together would bode well. And like you said, what's Ainge been doing? I mean, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame, and he's going to have his spot in history.
He's won a title as a general manager there with the Three Amigos.
Sure.
He's won multiple titles as a player.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah. I mean, he just basically it's time to move on. He's been the Celtics general manager, head of basketball operations for like 15 years now.
Sure. So
time to move on.
To me, it feels like a natural progression, whether you want to describe it as a good old boy
and you got to
network or
move up
whatever.
Stevens because you're afraid someone else will.
Right. Someone else is going to grab him up.
Dude, if you say you blame Brad Stevens and he's the problem and got rid of him, guess what? He'd be unemployed for about 30 seconds. Because the moment that got released on there, basically is you would have teams calling up on there. Hey, you want a job? And, on there. I do believe Brad Stevens is probably one of the smartest basketball guys on there. Plus, again, he's 35 years old now.
Right. So, but it's one of those things where, from what I understand, it's not like they booted him out. He's stepping down.
Right.
He's looking for something else to do, and you're not going to bring in another GM who may or may not be in line with Brad Stevens when you guys really like him.
And I don't want to lose Brad Stevens no matter
so,
what.
So that's what it is. It's not kind of like the good old boy network kind of thing where you just kind of bring your buddy in and let's just make him. That's not. I don't feel that that's necessarily what it is, but to each his own or whatever. I can understand why you'd be concerned because he doesn't have experience, but I'm going to point, Danny Ainge didn't have anyone he got there before, and he's done well for you guys. We made the same mistake here in Detroit with Steve Yzerman.
Right.
We said, oh, well, you didn't have the experience. We'd like you to get some experience first. And then he goes to Tampa and turns it around.
Right.
And it's
and
like,
we're stuck with
yeah,
Colin.
we had shit, and now we get him in a different role, but now he's got a huge mess to clean.
Right. It's gonna take time, and I do see on there. We'll see it on there. I
But-
think.
But I mean, it's just one of those things. They don't want to they don't want to make that mistake. That's and that's the way they went. So I'm with you. It seems weird to put a guy in that position, but you had to bring somebody up. And who do you have that's better? We always do this with coaches, right? If you're getting rid of a coach and you're not going to use a certain guy, then who do you have that would be a better option? So if you're looking at new GMs, what name out there, unnamed texter, would you want to be your GM in Boston? Who would you want? Like, you got to give me a name. You can't just say, oh, I don't want Brad Stevens to do that. They should have got somebody else. Well, who?
Right. Name one.
So I don't know that anybody that you bring up is necessarily any better or worse than Brad Stevens. So if you believe in the guy, you keep him here or there or whatever. And that's what they did. So... and we were talking about the nutty, I got a couple noteworthy things here somebody sent me. And guys, give me your name and stuff, so I can give you credit. 213 is the zip. A man accused of throwing water bottle on Kyrie actually pled guilty. There's charges bringing bottle. Is that for real? They're legit gonna bring charges?
Oh yeah.
That's
21 years old, and he's got on there. He's banned from the Garden for
that sucks if you really like,
Yeah, let's go to a Celtics game. Well, I can't because I was a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's a con. That you had the guy throwing the popcorn at
Yeah.
Westbrook.
Yep.
You had the storm the court.
Yep. And I think that's what our text. I'll start giving you shout outs here from the 2-1. Put your names on it so I can, even if it's just a handle, I'd be glad to, throw your Twitter handle out there or whatever. I don't care. Something I can call you by. But, yeah, we have always had these douchebag fans. They've always done this kind of thing. The thing is we've just spent last year and a half essentially with no fans, none of that, and now all of a sudden you see it. And
When they first get it goes on there and they act
Yep.
like complete ass.
it's like it's the only thing going. It's a playoff situation. All eyes are on the sport, and yeah, these idiots have been locked down for so long they don't know how to act like humans no more.
Right.
And so
They're
now
gonna ruin it for all of us.
yeah, so now they're the ones that would be heckling and being a pain in the ass have now stepped it up a notch and done the dumb shit. I am glad that they brought charges against that dude. The league, though, the NBA needs to be proactive. They need to do something to protect these players a little
Because
bit
somebody's
better.
gonna go out there was one time and try to basically hit really bodily harm on a player. That's only. It's not. If it will happen, it's gonna be.
Canada Mike is all upset about GMs. He's don't get me started on GMs. You already know where he's going,
Yeah.
probably.
One Brendan Shanahan.
Well, no, he didn't even go there. He says, remember the Leafs had Stellick for GM, and they traded Courtnall for Kordic straight up. And it's like, yeah, you can get a bad, crappy. I don't feel it's the issue with Brad Stevens. I just don't feel he could shit the bed. He could absolutely shit the bed.
Or it'd be fucking awesome.
But I think he's more likely to be very good
What
at
did
that.
Jerry West do before he became general manager of the Lakers?
Right.
He was a player.
Yeah.
That was it.
That was
Retired and went right to become the general manager.
Sure. And we talked about Chauncey Billups as a name for a head coaching scenario potentially, and I think that he fits the GM kind of role to
Yes.
me. And so that's a conversation we had. A guy that would essentially do the same kind of thing. To me, though, if you're IQ wise and depending on your personality and whatever you do, he might actually be a better GM than coach. What if that were to be the case? So like just pump the brakes a minute and see what happens. I mean, I can't imagine that they don't have an out somewhere if this guy turns out to be a dumpster fire. I just don't see it. I don't see it. So whatever. And then
But you're the funny is he's going about general managers. Dude, Toronto hasn't had a winning general manager. God knows how.
Well, yeah.
Punch Imlach basically was their last general manager, won a Stanley Cup, and that was like he was general manager from 1958 to through 69. They won 4 Stanley Cups and 6 appearances over that time on there.
Well, I think that's part of his
You
point.
had Kyle Dubas, you had Lou Lamoriello, which was again 2 playoff appearances in his thing. Dave Nanas on there. Brian Burke, who was there for 5 years, which was terrible. No playoff appearances. Cliff Fletcher, who was terrible. Oh my God, Cliff Fletcher was awful as a general manager.
Well, it's all about the crazy trades, and it's all about the stupid draft picks, and it's all about that kind of stuff when you're a general manager, to me. So, like, as much as you could be bad and have a losing season after losing season and be generally a bad GM, I think what stands out the most is when you do dumb shit. When you do Gruden type shit, right? Like, or whatever. You get the Jedi mind trick put on you, and you give up too much for somebody.
Yes.
And I think that, to me, is what makes or breaks a GM. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But I don't. If I'm a Celtics fan, I kind of don't mind it right now.
No.
I kind of want to see what he can do, and I'm going to be optimistic, and I'm not going to get mad that they brought somebody up and they didn't really interview from the outside. Now, I get it. This is where the real issue lies. Boston is, especially with I think it was Kyrie that put it out there, the racism that's kind of like circles around that state. And
that city is very
racist.
It's probably the second most racially divisive city in the country.
And so Kyrie put it out. I think it was Kyrie put it out in space. He's like, that's one of the most, because he was there.
Oh yeah.
He says that's like one of the most racist places I've ever been.
Yeah.
And so,
especially you get your Southies on here, and they're all a bunch of racist inbreds.
So I get where you're upset about that. They didn't even attempt to interview somebody of color or anything like that for any of these jobs. But we don't know who the coach is going to be.
No.
Maybe Brad Stevens brings in a guy of color.
Right.
That would probably be good for that team.
Yes.
And for that area. And maybe that would help. So I would hold my comments on that until you see how this plays out. But that being said, I get why you would have that ugly feeling in your belly if that's kind of where the world you're coming from, right? Like I'm a white guy. I don't know how it feels to be a black guy.
I don't think they've ever
in
had
America, let alone
again,
in
all
a
the
city
generals
like
have
Boston.
We're pretty much white guys on there because for pretty much 50 years it was Red Auerbach.
Right.
But again, you had under him, you did have quite a few black head coaches. You had Bill Russell was a head coach there, won a title there on it. You had Sam Jones, who ended up winning a title there on there as a head coach in that. So you had again, Doc Rivers won a title there as a head coach in that. So they do have options where basically they brought in black head coaches and had a lot of success in that. They always seem to be bringing former players in. Whether it was Bill Russell, longtime Celtic, Sam Jones was a longtime Celtic on there. I think Dave Collins was a player coach on there. He the same thing on there. Again, Doc Rivers is a former point guard. Again, did play with with them, but he did longtime player in that. So.
313-307-5340 text line. Feel free to hit us up. Beer Can Dan, glad to have you back. I know you don't get to hang out as much as you used to when you were here local to Michigan, but he does send us a thing. He says, did you hear who the Pistons hired? And he sent me a link here, and it says
that's John Beeline.
They hired John Beeline as in player development. So
yeah, senior player development.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I like it. we'll see. I mean,
Ooh,
what
God,
that means.
no. I hope they don't hire Jason Kidd among the candidates for his Boston head coach. God, I hope not.
Yeah, Jason Kidd would be a horrible, horrible choice.
Oh, he's a terrible coach.
Yeah, he's bad. Well, and it's kind of like one of those imploding things.
Yes.
It's like he's going to implode on himself, and you're going to have to let him go, or he's going to have to resign. Like, there's just no way that he's going to get through his contract as a head coach, unless you give him like a 1-year deal.
They got Chauncey listed
Who
on
does
there.
that?
Lloyd Pierce.
If they're smart, they go with Chauncey over what's his name. But jeez,
M.A. Udaka was longtime assistant under Pops.
okay, I don't know him.
And when he joined Brett Brown as the top assistant, so he's there on there. So yeah.
Well, Brett Brown, I know who he is. I didn't know the other guy. Okay, well, I don't know. We'll see how that plays out.
God, anybody but freaking Jason Kidd.
Yeah, I know that guy's terrible. I can't imagine. Well, it's one of those things, right? We talked about it before. The X's and O's are less of a thing in basketball. These guys know every scheme and every this and every that there is. It's much more about managing egos, setting culture and a feeling and a vibe and the unity with the team, all that kind of stuff. And I just don't see that he does that. He's not anywhere near capable of that. And like I said, I just feel like he would implode on himself. It's kind of like Tito Ortiz ran for city council of Huntington Beach and then fuck around and won, and then realized 3 months later that he's actually got to do shit.
Yeah.
And doesn't want to do it anymore and has to quit. So he resigns and walks away, a loser. So it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's all fine and dandy till you got to put the work in.
They definitely got on there. They got Chauncey on there. They said, yeah, he doesn't have the experience on there, but his basketball IQ makes up more for his lack of coaching experience.
Well, and that's what but see, you can't have that be and that's what we're talking about with Stevens. Now, to me, I feel like if Stevens, you're relying on his IQ over his experience, then you need to bring in an experienced coach.
Yes, I would probably bring in somebody with a little bit more experience to see what you can get.
That's just my opinion. Like we talked about it before, you can't have, a first-time GM that's never done anything like that, and then put him with a rookie head coach. It's going to be a debacle. I just feel like it's a debacle. You got to have somebody there that has a little bit more experience.
Whether they've been a long-time assistant on there,
right?
I would even mind going with what's the girl from San Antonio?
Oh yeah. What's her name? Yeah, no, you're right. I forget her name. No, but she's legit.
She's a legit because she subbed in when Pops was sick or whatever. She's on here.
So yeah, I'm with you.
Was that Becky Nolan? I want to say.
You might be right, but she used to play WNBA, right?
Yeah, she used to play on it, but she's been a long time NBA assistant coach.
Yeah. So I don't know. Obviously, things are progressing in the right way as far as that goes, but I don't know if she, because of so that's going to become a thing, right? The first female head coach in the NBA.
Becky Harmon.
That's what it is. So the first female head coach in the NBA, that's going to be like a thing. And I just feel like that's a lot on the plate for a rookie head coach, no matter how much assistant experience you have, when you're the first ever. And then you're going to... So that would be why I would have a reservation. She's going to come in, be the first ever female NBA head coach, and have that weight on her and not necessarily be able to be the stabilizing force for a rookie GM.
And lo and behold, on San Antonio's newspaper, they got it on there. First thing is NBA fans, rumors of her getting hired at the Celtics.
Sure. So. Well, yeah. I mean, every market's going to have their guy. That we had
Yeah.
Juwan Howard, right?
Right.
He got brought up. Every market is going to have a guy that, or a girl in this case, that is good, that people talk about, and those names will
Right.
always come up in the talks. But is that real or not?
Yeah.
We talked about it here with Juwan Howard. I just don't think it's real.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see it on there too. They got
But
also,
to put in a black guy of his credibility and his tenure in the NBA and all those kinds of things would really be a good move for Boston.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be the best move for Boston. I just don't want him to go.
They got also listed as Sam Cassell.
But then he's got to take a spaceship to work every day, and I just don't think that they have the parking for that. And then that kid.
Well, I do believe again his ship does have like a transporter, so they could just still sit there in orbit and just beam him right down.
Yeah, but I believe he got it from Spaceballs, the movie.
Oh.
He got Spaceballs, the transporter, and so everybody comes with their head on backwards.
Yes.
So,
Also to mention is Villanova head coach Jay Wright as a possibility of making a step up.
Okay.
Again, I don't see that. Again, basketball IQ and winning on there. I don't. I can see that. I mean, Jay Wright coming up there, but again, we'll see what happens on there. But I do believe they're going to basically they'll hire. Again, Stevens I think is going to hire the right guy.
Canada Mike is still melting down about GMs in Toronto. He's like in his own meltdown phase right now. No one can help him. I feel I need to break him out of it. I need to pull him from the depths here. Canada Mike, it's okay, but check. He goes, hell, the Leafs could bring in George Bell as a GM, and he would be better than what they have now. Then he went on to say, hell, they could just bring in Nickelback as their whole front office and would be better off than they are now. And every day would be a musical. Every day could be a musical.
It's gonna suck if Austin Matthews decides he wants out.
Yeah.
It comes a couple 100 miles down the road, down to 401 across the bridge. Comes here to Detroit.
Oh boy. Ruh-roh. I'm trying to bring him back. I'm trying to bring him back down, Moose. You can't do that. You can't send him back into a tailspin. But it's Canada Mike.
I understand that, but it's
we
still
love
the
Canada
Leafs.
Mike. I know.
It's still the Leafs.
It sucks to be a fan of a shitty team. That's why I look at Lions fans like
Well,
with
they
the
do have the
weird
second most
inquisitive
Stanley
face.
Cup championships of all time.
Yes, it's
Of
been a
course, they
long
haven't won
time.
anything in 54 years.
Well, welcome to Michigan, right?
That's right,
University of Michigan, right? We're the winningest college football team for how many years, and that included 10 years of absolute ineptitude.
Yes, but at least they won a national title in my lifetime.
Yes, mine as well. We got the GOAT.
Yeah,
and too. So that's like all we have to hang our hat on, even though they didn't know how to use them.
So
anyway, but no, I hear you. I hear you. We have the Lions. We have the Lions here.
Yeah.
So I feel you. Like
Yeah.
anytime
Dude,
someone
we haven't seen a football team win a world championship in our lifetimes. And basically,
Ever.
we're going on 64 years now.
All right.
So when you get that far up, talk to me.
Yep. Well,
I mean, we're getting up to freaking Red Sox and Cubs era territory here.
yes. Yeah, I would have to say that we are the new version of that. There's nobody else that's probably gone longer without.
Right.
And then the Pistons might be the next team because they'll probably never get together the way things are going.
I have more faith in Troy Weaver than Al Avila.
Sure,
That's for
absolutely.
darn sure.
Oh, damn sure. But I still, once again, poised for sale. I just believe. So we got Memphis-Utah game. Utah wants to close this thing out up 2-0 early going. So that means our game was a final. Washington eliminated. Just couldn't get it done. Wes and Beal have a good connection, I think. They're playing well together. Need a little bit more of a help from the supporting cast. but they have a murderer's row at the top 3 of the Eastern Conference for the next couple of years at least, and so that's going to be tough for that team, even with 2 good players. You know, those 2 really good players. So there way I go. Are the Habs just rubbing it in here? What's the scoreboard? Did they score again? No,
Nope.
it's 3-1.
Still
It was
3.
a replay or something. I was like, man.
Well, it's a shame because again they got all the white little backings on the scene. It was like the old whiteouts of the Winnipeg Jets,
Yes.
which was one of the greatest things, and especially for playoff hockey, everybody's like wearing a white T-shirt, man,
Sure.
over their jersey, showing up for the Jets and that. So
That's funny. We'll put a bunch of poster boards in everybody's seat, you know, make it that feel kind of whatever. But Canada is a little bit rougher situation there. Like they don't have the vaccine rollout that we've got here. So we were talking about it a little bit last week, and I'm sure we'll talk about it more because I haven't heard anything official from the NHL how they're going to handle this when you get to your
Toronto's starting to feel. I mean, Ontario was starting to open up a little bit more. So, like, you know, Game 7 they actually allowed 550 fans into the stands and that. And again, all those were first line workers, the healthcare workers that all got vaccinated. So.
Well, my thing is, I think more than likely, instead of traveling internationally back and forth, they'll figure out a different schedule. And I would guess that they're going to have all 7 games here.
Yes, it'll be from when they come to the semi-conference finals, they'll be over here in the States.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to do some sort of bubble.
Yeah, I think they would do. Well, see, the thing here is there's not going to be a bubble here. There's not going to be a bubble here. There's no mandates here. All you're going to do is, you're going to have to hope the vaccines handle business. And then what I think they will do, because Canada has been doing that, and I imagine that the NHL will do that. They'll make sure that everybody's vaccinated.
Yeah.
So everybody will be vaccinated. I think they'll come down here, and it'll be a bubble in the sense that I think that you almost have to do it at a neutral site.
Yeah.
And so maybe they'll do something like that. We'll see.
Oh,
but here we go. We got a game now.
We
got a game now. There's 10 and a half to go yet, and it is now officially 3-2. So this is a game. For the first time in this game, it's officially a game. Because they were fast and furious in the first 8 minutes of this game. But now it is time. Oof, just over that glove. Makes you wonder how they can see so good every other time, and that one time someone must have been in his view.
Yep. Probably had somebody who was obstructing a little bit.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't, again, if it was Roy, you wouldn't have to worry because that.
Well, no, because he'd have a parachute on.
Parachute, he could just stood up in there and it just draped.
Yeah, he's got his flying squirrel outfit. He just put his arms out and it just.
Do you see that guy the other day? Set the world record for jumping out of a plane without a parachute. So he jumped out at 7,620 meters, 25,000 feet.
Then what?
Into a net.
A net?
They had this net that was suspended probably 50, 60 feet in the air. So it was probably a 70 by 70 square net. He jumped out at 25,000 feet. Basically, he had his buddies on there all going around there, and they're aiming for this freaking net. Of course, they all pulled their chutes, and he basically went all the way down. And before he landed in the net, he flipped over on his back so he could go with his back into the net.
How did he flip on his back last minute like that?
Basically, he showed him when he's falling. He's doing it, kind of like doing it where he could flip over.
Yeah, you tuck and roll your shoulder.
Kind of tuck and roll, and he's just doing the tuck and roll periodically just to make sure he can do it. And into 25,000 feet into a net.
And
basically, when you're at 25,000 feet, that net looks like the size of my.
I know, but my whole thing with that is, how did his terminal velocity not put him through the fucking net? With nothing to slow him down.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I'd be going so fast that I would go through the net and into the ground like a Warner Brothers cartoon.
Well, it was like it was up quite. It wasn't just like on there.
I
but
don't give
still.
a shit. I'm gonna burn through the fucking net like fucking what's that NBA Jams?
Yeah.
I'm gonna burn through the net like NBA Jams, baby.
Fuego.
I feel like my velocity would just blow me right through the net, and then, you know, like what kind of net is it? These holes better be small. I feel like
Yeah.
I'd be done.
Yeah, you know what I just say? Fuck that.
Well, how the fuck how come they use big, giant inflatables if you jump out of a building, but they use the goddamn net when you jump 25,000 feet from a fucking plane?
Well, I don't think even if you had inflatable, it'd go. I mean, that inflatable would have to be like 75 feet tall. And how
But
you gonna
you,
throw
have
that
you
up?
ever been whipped with a rope?
It hurts.
Fuck. Think about fucking running into a rope net.
I
at
jumped out
fucking-
of my garage into my pool and hit on there doing a cannonball into the deep end and still hit the bottom, and that hurt. And I was only like 15 feet in the air.
You're going at just do 45 miles an hour into one of them rope ladders. Tell me how that feels.
Yeah. Or ride your bike off a boat dock. That hurts.
Like
Doing 120 miles an hour into a net.
Oh, and another goal. Montreal went back up 4-2.
Yep.
Holy cow. The second period, they just took off. They just needed a nap. It was nappy time in the second period, but the first period and the third period. Action. Oh, did his own team put that fucker back in? Oh, it almost looked like his own teammate hit that rebound. No. You can see.
Yeah. You got Dan Petrie's boy playing for Montreal too, so there we go. Local.
Nice. Well, anyway. I don't know. So, well, we'll see what's up with the Embiid factor. We'll also see, hopefully, the Lakers get eliminated. We got Clippers coming up soon here, too, don't they? Aren't they going to be starting soon tonight?
Yeah, they're 10 o'clock.
Okay. So, yeah, they'll be tipping off here in a few minutes, but Utah's putting it on Memphis. They want out of this series, and they want out now. 21-7 in the early going. Utah's just putting it on them, dude.
So we said Utah's probably the most balanced team.
And they just...
But no superstars, just really good balance. So.
You know, we had Memphis is just well, we talked about Utah. They're the kind of that 04 Pistons kind of version.
Yeah.
You know, today's version of that, where they're more of a team unit. But yeah, Memphis doesn't want none of this smoke, and they can't handle it. They can't hang right now.
Hawks are up on the Knicks by 19 with
Yeah.
5 minutes left. So Knicks are done.
Knicks are done. Bye. So yeah, so next week we'll get back here. We'll start breaking down some new matchups. We'll have some new rounds. It should be good. So guys, the whole light at the end of the tunnel. I know, Camden Mike, you're stressing, man. Ontario's closing schools and things aren't looking real great there, but it's coming. And so everybody in the States, you know, if you haven't had a chance to vaccinate, go ahead and vaccinate, man. Don't put yourself at risk because you want to be slick and roll around without a mask because nobody says anything, nobody cares, and you can do whatever. Let's make this thing go away for good. Let's get sports back to normal. We're starting to get crowds back into all these live shows. If you guys are pro wrestling fans, June 19th, we'll be back at the Artesia Youth Center with IWE and fans. And you've seen it, the pay-per-view. The first pay-per-view, wrestling pay-per-view in a year plus with fans in the building, and it made a huge difference. You're seeing the difference in these games and these other events. I'm hearing commercials for concerts on the radio. Life is starting to get back to normal. We're working on it. So, guys, get vaccinated if you can, if it rates, if it works for you. But be smart. Be good to each other. and let's get out of this thing. We're almost there, man. We're almost there, and it's been a pleasure to be with you through it. We'll see you guys next week. We love you guys. Be good to each other.
Peace out.
Peace.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip hop, rap,